Previously, on What If James Never Got Engaged.
Everyone I've told about the file is dead.
What do you mean, cut the blue wire? They're all blue wires! Face it, he's never coming out of that coma.
James! Hoenn!
To find himself.
From the snowy village hidden within the surrounding peaks of Mount Silver, James, Jessie, and Meowth venture towards Hoenn. They may not know why they're going, but they know who asked them to. Aston, a boy from Jessie's past in dance school. What could he possibly want us in Hoenn for? I haven't spoken with him since I said goodbye in Little Root Town, Jessie wonders aloud. It has been only a short time since Jessie competed in the Silver Conference, where she placed in the top 16 before losing against Lance. The trio is now traveling through the mountains towards the coast of southern Kanto. Though she said they didn't have to go with her, James and Meowth insist on going to Hoenn with Jessie. Meowth is especially vocal about going with her, as he's been feeling something ominous following the trio ever since leaving the Silver Conference. Despite this, the journey towards the coast ends up being pretty uneventful. They arrive at a port not too far west of Pallet Town. They're able to board a ferry from the Seafoam Islands that will take them to Hoenn. While James relaxes, happy to be back out at sea again, he notices how uneasy Jessie seems. After being knocked out of the Silver Conference, and then to get such a mysterious letter, leaving before she had much time to relax, it's no surprise she's not herself. Chansey, sitting outside her Pokeball by Jessie, tries to calm her trainer with a sing, but only manages to put her to sleep. James sits by Jessie and Chansey while Meowth wanders through the ship. Watching water Pokemon swimming freely in the ocean, he thinks back to his life before James and Jessie, how he now feels as free as those happy Goldeen and Magikarp in the ocean. He gets so distracted watching the water, Meowth slips on the deck and off the side of the ship. He's about to fall in when someone grabs him just in time. Still a little panicked, Meowth squirms against the person and scratches them. James finally looks up and sees two hooded figures, one of them holding Meowth. He immediately runs over. "Hey, what's going on here? Let go of Meowth," he says, and Meowth jumps into his arms. "Oh, we're terribly sorry. We didn't mean to scare you. Your Meowth was about to fall over the side. Didn't want that to happen," the person says, and removes her hood to reveal her long blonde hair. A hooded boy next to her does the same, revealing a greenish-blue hair color almost as weird as his voice is deep. "Yeah, our bad," he says and laughs. "Oh, well then, I'm the one who should be sorry, and grateful. Thank you for saving Meowth. I'm James, and I hope Meowth didn't scratch you too badly. He isn't great with strangers." "Well, I'm Cassidy, and this is Butch. There, we aren't strangers now, are we?" "I guess not," Meowth says, and Butch and Cassidy smile. Aren't you surprised to hear a talking Meowth?" James asks. Yes, oh my god, that's crazy! We had no idea there would be a rare and very valuable talking Meowth on this ship. How fascinating," Cassidy says with a smile that is absolutely hiding nothing. James, as naive and friendly as ever, trusts Cassidy and Butch completely. What? It's not like they're working for some secret evil organization that saw his talking Meowth in the Orange Archipelago and are interested in stealing him. That would be silly. James, Meowth, and their new friends, Butch and Cassidy, walk back to relax by a still sleeping Jessie. James tells them about the note bringing them to Hoenn, and Butch and Cassidy say they're going to Hoenn because, well, for reasons. They ask James if they can all travel together, and he thinks it's a great idea. Surely nothing bad will come from that. By the time Jessie wakes up and is introduced to Butch and Cassidy, the four of them are already at the borders of Hoenn. The ferry docks in the easternmost island of Hoenn, the very place where the battle frontier is in the Generation 3 Pokemon games. This is also the exact island where the Evergrande Pokemon League tournament is held. Once landed, Jessie and James realize they don't know where to go next. Hoenn is a big place after all, even if it is mostly water. Luckily, they don't sit idle for long. A man dressed in the clean and proper suit of a butler approaches them on the dock. "Good, you have arrived. Follow me, please. They are expecting you." Though confused as to what he means, they follow the butler towards a large and very ritzy tea house. Jessie, James, and Meowth follow the man in, leaving Butch and Cassidy waiting for them outside. The butler leads them into a back room, where at first the trio think they're all alone. until Jessie sees Aston standing by a table with a chair turned away from them. "Hello, Jessie. It's been a long time." "Aston, I can't believe you left me back in Little Root, you jerk!" "I deserve that more than you know. I wanted to see you again, but not like this." "Listen, you have to leave. You have no idea what she has planned." "Who? What are you talking about? Why did you ask us to come to Hoenn?" "Well, Allow me to answer that," says a horrifyingly familiar voice as the chair behind the desk spins around. Meowth hisses, and James, standing behind Jessie, falls over in fear as he looks into the eyes of the most evil girl he has ever met. Like the Bond villain she is, Jezebel stands up.
"Welcome to my moon base."
Well, if it isn't the love of my life. How have you been, James, darling? Oh, come now, sweetie, don't ruin our reunion. This is a happy occasion. Today is once again our wedding day. Our what? Yes, and don't you try and run. I won't reschedule our special day again. As James stands petrified by the sight of Jezebel, she notices who James is traveling with. "Ah, so you must be the little harlot who has my Jamesy Poo traveling around like a ruffian." "Jamesy Poo? Well, you can't have him anymore. I got silly little Aston to lure you to Hoenn so I can tell you face to face. Stay away from my fiancé." "Your what?" Jessie yells in the same tone as James. "For the last time, I am not your fiancé. Hoenn or Kanto, it doesn't matter. I will never marry you no matter where you ask me," James says. "Fine, I knew you'd play hard to get again. I planned for that. Since you got lucky in the Indigo League tournament, how about a rematch? Today, in this very town, in the Battle Frontier Flute Cup, a double tournament that you two are going to enter. If you and her win, I swear to leave you alone for all time. And if we win," she says, grabbing Aston. "Let me guess," James says, "you will finally marry me." Jessie looks to Aston with disgust, cowering behind Jezebel. "How could you work with her? I've known her for 30 seconds and even I realize she's evil." "You don't understand, Jessie. I don't have a choice." "See you at the tournament. Don't be late, sweetums." And with a manic laugh, Jezebel, Aston, and the butler leave the tea house. Somehow, even when she's long gone, James can still hear her evil laugh in his mind. Wow, that's intense. Butch, says later when the group is in the town's Pokemon Center. "You both have some pretty evil exes," Cassidy adds. "They aren't our exes," Jessie and James say in unison. "Jezebel is a monster, and Aston, well... Jessie, what's up with him?" James asks. "I don't know. I'm not sure why he's going along with her plan," she says. "Well, if these two are causing you that much trouble, then Butch and I will join the tournament too." "We will?" "Yes, you idiot. We can't have our new friends, James, Jessie, and of course Meowth, come to harm. Not yet, at least." "What was that?" "Oh, nothing." Though Jessie and James try to convince Bruce and Cassidy, who are totally trustworthy new friends, not to mess with Jezebel, they're unconvinced. The four of them register for the tournament and plan their strategy. Buzz and Cassidy and Jessie and James prepare to defeat Jezebel and Aston in the Flute Cup. The doubles tournament is held in a grand Battle Frontier arena. Though smaller than the nearby Evergrande Conference Village, it's still a huge audience to watch a doubles tournament with much higher stakes than they realize. There are 8 pairs of trainers signed up, so there will be 3 rounds to determine a winner. In the first round, Jessie and James face off against Adam and Evelyn from Wazoo Island. Well-known treasure hunters, they send out a Huntail and Gorabice. Though the Hoenn Pokemon are unfamiliar to Jessie and James, they don't flinch. This isn't their first time in a battle. They send out Ditto and Gengar. As they battled together once in the Orange League, the two work together perfectly. Ditto transforms into Gengar, and the two put the Hoenn Pokemon to sleep with Hypnosis, defeating them both with powerful Dream Eaters. Adam and Evelyn are knocked out of the tournament in no time. Bob and Cassidy, the trio's new best buddies with no ulterior motives, face off against Eliza and Hal, an aspiring Pokemon Ranger and a Flygon-obsessed trainer. They send out Meganium and Trapinch respectively, and Butch and Cassidy send out Mightyena and Sableye. The battle seems evenly matched, with Razor Leaf, Sand Attack, Slashes, and Fury Swipes being exchanged left, right, and center. But just as Eliza and Hal seem to be getting an advantage, Botch orders Mighty Enna to kick up dirt and sand right by Eliza and Hal's eyes. The two trainers can't see what's happening, and in the confusion, Sableye is able to defeat both Meganium and Trapinch with a devastating Shadow Ball. The two win, but the audience boos as they exit the arena. Though Jessie and James weren't in the stands to see such a dirty, cheap play, Meowth saw the whole thing, and is really starting to dislike these two new friends. Jezebel and Aston enter the arena next, with a loud, solitary boo from Meowth. Though Jezebel laughs maniacally, Aston looks pretty uncomfortable. Their opponents are the lovers, Oscar and Andy. We heard in the locker room what she is doing here, trying to force someone to marry you. That is not true love. Like, I care what you think? Jezebel scoffs at them, and with a crack of her whip, sends out her Drapion. Aston is about to send out a Pokemon, but Meowth notices that he waits until Jezebel hands him a Pokeball first, for some reason. He sends out a Vileplume. Oscar and Andy then send out Nidorino and Nidorina. The battle is completely and totally one-sided. Vileplume seems well-trained, but oddly always listens to Jezebel's orders instead of Aston's. With Vileplume backing it up, Jezebel's Drapion is on a completely different level. It shrugs off every poison attack the two lovers throw at it, and defeats them both with a powerful Giga Impact. It seems Jezebel hasn't forgotten how James defeated her back in the Indigo League. The final round is Annie Proctor and Professor Proctor, researchers of ancient Pokemon, against the parents of one-day gym leaders Tate and Liza, Jin and Rachel. And Jin won't just be a parent to two amazing Pokemon trainers, but also become an astronaut one day. Neat. Needless to say, the parents of one-day gym leaders aren't bad trainers themselves, and their Solrock and Lunatone absolutely annihilate the Proctors Anorith and Lileep. But at least it was good research to see how ancient Pokemon lose. Before the semifinals begin, Jessie approaches Aston during a moment when Jezebel is not in the room. I don't know why you've agreed to this, but if there's still any friendship between us, please stop, she asks him. I can't, Jessie. I don't want to go along with her plan, but if I don't listen, she'll never give me back my... Give you back your what? Nothing. I've said too much already, he says and leaves the waiting room before Jessie can ask him any more. Jessie returns to tell James and Meowth what happened, but the next round begins before they can speak. In the first semi-finals battle, Jessie and James send out Arbok and Weezing against Jin and Rachel's Lunatone and Solrock. At first this seems like a major mistake. Two poison types against two psychic types? Why would they do that? But don't underestimate Jessie and James. They have a plan. Step 1. Have Weezing cover the arena in a smokescreen. Step 2. While under this cover, Arbok uses Dig to create dozens of tunnels under the rocky arena for the two Pokemon to hide in. Step 3. While the two floating psychic types search through the holes from above, Arbok uses Bite to attack Weezing. Wait, why would Jessie attack her partner's Pokemon? Simple. Weezing is using Bide. While safe from super effective psychic attacks underground, Arbok can do as much damage to Weezing as possible. When Weezing floats casually back onto the surface, he unleashes the most powerful Bide anyone in the arena has ever seen. Solrock and Lunatone are defeated instantly. The message is clear. If Jezebel wants a battle, she's gonna get more than she bargained for. Jessie and James aren't playing around. The second round is Butch. Why do I keep doing that? And Cassidy versus Jezebel and Aston. Jezebel and Aston once again send out Drapion and Vileplume. Butch sends out Raticate, and Cassidy sends out a Wobbuffet. As the battle begins, Meowth has deja vu watching Wobbuffet battle. He remembers back at the Silver Conference when Jessie battled a Wobbuffet owned by a hooded figure. The same kind of hood Butch and Cassidy were wearing on the boat. That's kinda weird. But he realizes it can't be the same one. The one Jessie battled lost easily, whereas Cassidy's Wobbuffet deflects and counters every attack Vileplume and Drapion throw at them. This gives Raticate plenty of opportunities to sneak in some very fast Super Fangs. It seems like Butch and Cassidy are gonna win easily, but Jezebel yells at Aston to order Vileplume to use Stun Spore on Wobbuffet. Before he can put up a safeguard, Wobbuffet is paralyzed. Without his defenses, Raticate is exposed to Drapion's powerful attacks and is taken out with a Night Slash. Even though they're about to be declared the winners anyway, as Wobbuffet is so badly paralyzed, Jezebel still orders Drapion to use Night Slash on it. The audience boos her violent and unnecessary attack, but Jezebel doesn't care, and she and Aston are declared the winners. Before the finals, as Butch and Cassidy are eliminated, they decide to spend their time doing whatever they can to help their new best buddies Jessie and James. They offer to take the Pokemon Jessie and James are not using to the Pokemon Center. Why not let them relax while you battle, They say with absolutely no malicious intent whatsoever. Meowth is the only one who is a little cautious, but before he can voice his concern, both Jessie and James agree. Butch and Cassidy ask if Meowth, the extra special talking Pokemon, would like to go too. Lucky for Meowth though, his time on the streets has shown him what humans are capable of, and he tells them no thanks. James and Jessie give their other 5 Pokemon to the duo and begin focusing on the final round. This battle has a lot on the line. If they lose, James will be at Jezebel's mercy, and Jessie may never find out why Aston betrayed her this way. Amid cheers and fireworks, the 4 trainers send out their Pokemon. Jessie and James send out Growly and Chansey, and Jezebel and Aston send out Vileplume and Drapion once again. Growly and Chansey may not have battled together like Drapion and Vileplume have, but they work together extremely well. Growly attacks with Flamethrower, and Chansey tanks incoming attacks only to heal the damage back with Soft Boiled. It seems like they will keep this up over and over, Growly attacking and Chansey tanking, but out of nowhere, Growly intentionally takes an incoming Night Slash from Drapion. Why would he do that? So that he can get a boost to his attack thanks to his ability Justified. With this attack boost, Growly is able to deliver the final blow against Drapion with Flare Blitz. 1 down, 1 to go. Just as Growly defeats Drapion, Vileplume attacks from behind and successfully paralyzes him with Stun Spore. It seems like Growly's done for, but just as Vileplume begins charging up a Solar Beam, Chansey runs over to the paralyzed puppy Pokemon. She reveals her ability for the first time, Healer. Chansey heals Growly's paralysis, and he comes back swinging hard. Vileplume is wide open charging its attack, and Growly, still powered up from Justified, defeats the Grass type with a devastating Flare Blitz. Chansey and Growly the Vileplume Slayer have done it. Jessie and James defeat Jezebel and Aston and are declared the winners of the Flute Tournament. The arena erupts into applause, most of the audience just happy a brat like Jezebel didn't win. But amidst the clapping is heard a single voice. "No, I will not accept this," Jezebel screams. "I always get what I want. Marry me, James!" Jezebel cracks her whip and runs towards James. Luckily, before she can attack him, security guards by the arena charge forward and grab Jezebel. She thrashes against them and in her madness yells out, "Aston, this is all your fault! You idiot! I told you if you don't lure them here and help me win, you'd never see your Pokemon again." Everyone is stunned silent. Oh, no. Did I scream that out loud? Jezebel says. Yeah, you did, the security guards say, and open her purse, revealing several Pokeballs inside. Aston's eyes open wide, and he runs forward, happily accepting his Pokemon back after they'd been stolen and held hostage by Jezebel. "I think the Hoenn police would love to have a few words with you, young missy," the guards say and drag Jezebel away. For the last time, Jezebel screams out, "James, you haven't seen the last of me yet." "Actually, I think I have," he says, and the audience applauds once more, now realizing just how crazy Jezebel was. After they're given their prize of 5 flutes, back in the trainer waiting room, Jessie and James are congratulated by Butch and Cassidy. Aston then walks in and apologizes for all he put them through, but Jessie tells him not to worry about it, that she understands. "If I had my Pokemon stolen by a villain, I'm sure I'd go even crazier than you did," Jessie says, with Butch and Cassidy sharing a suspicious and nervous glance behind her. "Even after all this, I'm happy I still got to see you again, Jessie," Aston says. "And you know, the contest pass I sent you wasn't fake. Maybe you should use it. I've been in Hoenn for a while now, and I think you would do really well here. And James, maybe you should try the Hoenn Gym Challenge. There's a ton this region has to offer." Jessie and James aren't sure about staying in Hoenn though. It's been a wild enough adventure already, and they're sure Meowth would rather relax back home in James's mansion. At the mention of Meowth leaving though, Cassidy suddenly speaks up. No, you can't go yet. This is a great chance for an adventure. In fact, we were thinking of joining the contest circuit and gym challenge too, weren't we, Butch? Yeah? So let's all go together. We'll even pay for the ferry to the mainland where we can sign up. Jessie and James consider it and decide if their trustworthy new friends want to do it, then maybe they will too. Once Butch and Cassidy return Jessie and James's Pokeballs, which were totally taken to the Pokemon Center and not anywhere else, the 4 of them prepare to leave the island. They all wave goodbye to Aston, telling him to cheer for them when they have enough badges and ribbons to compete in the Evergrande Conference and the Grand Festival. Leaving on a boat Butch and Cassidy rented, Jessie and James are a little concerned there isn't a sailor on board with them, but Butch tells them he's been sailing his whole life, and can ferry them to the mainland at Slateport City no problem. The boat ride to the mainland is quiet and calm, until the boat stops at a small island about halfway through the trip. Butch and Cassidy suggest they take a break and relax at this small, uninhabited island. You know, where no one will bother us, Cassidy says with no evilness behind her words. Jessie and James agree, grabbing some supplies from the boat to set up a picnic. Meowth jumps off the boat too, excited to eat dinner. But as he jumps, he's suddenly grabbed from behind right out of the air. Just like back on the ferry to Hoenn, Cassidy has grabbed Meowth. "Oh, Cassidy, you can let Meowth go. He can make that jump no problem," James says, but his smile begins to fade when he sees the look on Cassidy's face. She didn't grab Meowth to keep him from getting wet, she just grabbed him. "Cassidy, let Meowth go." "Why don't you make her?" Butch says, and Jessie stands up too. "Stop joking around, you two." "No more joking around. In fact, why don't we come clean to our new friends? Good idea." Butch and Cassidy throw Meowth inside of a cage they seemingly pulled out of nowhere, and quick change into two very weird outfits. Matching black clothes with big red R's on them. It looks oddly familiar to James, but he can't remember where he's seen it before. And then...
To infect the world with devastation.
To blight all peoples in every nation.
To denounce the goodness of truth and love.
To extend our wrath to the stars above.
Cassidy.
Butch.
We're Team Rocket circling Earth all day and night.
Surrender to us now or you will surely lose the fight.
That's right.
Okay! Copycat!
Suddenly, James remembers where he's seen that red R before. Back on New Island, right before the Orange League, he met a strange group of people wearing the same clothes. He remembered they were very interested in Meowth, him being the first talking Pokemon they'd ever seen. "You're here to steal Meowth, aren't you?" James yells out. "Bravo! Took you long enough to figure it out," Cassidy says. "Team Rocket ordered us to capture your rare talking Meowth, and we always complete our mission." From inside the cage, Meowth finally puts all of the pieces together. "You're the ominous thing I've been sensing since the Silver Conference, and you were the hooded Wobbuffet trainer. Yes, it was our plan to first evaluate the strength of your traveling partner here. Once I saw how weak she was, I knew we could steal your talking Meowth in the snowy village. Unfortunately, that crazy girl had you run immediately to Hoenn, nearly ruined all of our plans. We had no choice but to follow you and bide our time for another opportunity to steal your Pokemon. You'll never steal our Pokemon. We'll stop you," Jessie says, and throws a Pokeball containing Arbok. But the Pokeball is empty. "Never steal your Pokemon? My dear, we already have." Both Jessie and James realize what fools they've been. When they handed over their Pokemon to be healed, Butch and Cassidy must have swapped them for empty Pokeballs. It's simple. You have no Pokemon to defeat us, we have Meowth behind bars, and all we have to do is sail away and leave you two stranded on this island. We just had to take a few moments to gloat. It's amazing when a plan goes so perfectly, isn't it, Hutch? It's Butch. Whatever. Jessie and James can't believe it. How could they be so stupid? They failed Meowth and all of their Pokemon. Wait, not all of their Pokemon. James gives Jessie a nod, and both of them send out their only Pokemon left, Growly and Chansey. "Huh, you think two little Pokemon will stand a chance against us? Here's a tip. Team Rocket doesn't play fair." Butch and Cassidy send out Mightyena, Sableye, Raticate, and Wobbuffet. Growly and Chansey are totally outnumbered, but they don't flinch, and neither do James or Jessie. Even if the chance is small, they'll never give up. The battle is clearly one-sided, but Growly and Chansey do everything they can to defeat them. As the battle rages on, with everything on the line, it seems like they're done for. An injured Growly and Chansey look moments away from fainting. Mightyena, Sableye, and Raticate begin charging up a devastating attack to defeat them once and for all. It looks like everything's done for. But suddenly, an unexpected ally jumps in front of the attack. Using Mirror Coat to reflect the attack back, Raticate, Mightyena, and Sableye are flung back, hitting Butch and Cassidy right off of the boat. But who just sent Butch and Cassidy blasting off? It was none other than Wobbuffet. But wait a minute. Why would Butch and Cassidy's own Pokemon help Jessie and James? Wobbuffet waddles over to the boat and releases Meowth from the cage, who can then translate for him. Wobbuffet says, For years I've been forced to work for those two, to help them do terrible things. I couldn't do it anymore. I remember fighting against you, Jessie, back at the Silver Conference and wishing I had a trainer like you. Wobbuffet betrayed Butch and Cassidy, and though it knows what it's done in the past is awful, it begs Jessie, James, and Meowth to forgive it. Though the trio are shell-shocked by what just happened, they forgive Wobbuffet without question. Without your help, Butch and Cassidy would have beaten us and stolen Meowth, Growly, and Chansey, Jessie says and hugs Wobbuffet. Through Meowth's translation, Wobbuffet asks Jessie if he can join her team. He promises to fight hard to make up for the damage he helped cause. Jessie agrees and adds Wobbuffet to her team. Though she's happy to be joined by him, neither Jessie or Meowth know what to say to James. He's already in the boat, figuring out how to sail it to Slateport City, the direction Butch and Cassidy were sent blasting off. We have to leave. I'm getting my Pokemon back, now. Jessie and Meowth get in the boat, neither one having seen James this angry before. Both are worried seeing the hate behind his eyes, but are just as determined to rescue their friends. It takes them some time to get used to steering the boat, but the trio sail through the night and arrive at Slateport City. When they enter the city, gyms and contests are the last things on their mind. They head straight for the police station and report what happened to this town's Officer Jenny. She tells them that this isn't the first Pokemon theft that's been reported in Hoenn recently. A criminal organization by the name of Team Rocket has been sending agents here to rob trainers participating in both the gym and contest leagues. Jenny tells them she will do everything she can to rescue their Pokemon, but can't make any promises. James is furious after talking with Jenny, and though the trio rests at a Pokemon Center, he can't get any sleep. First Jezebel, and now this? While Jessie and Meowth are asleep, James leaves and begins searching the area for any clue as to the whereabouts of Butch and Cassidy. He knows Wobbuffet sent them blasting off in this direction, so if they came anywhere, it had to be to Slateport. Hours pass, but James doesn't find anything. As James cries alone in the woods outside Slateport, he can't help but feel like all hope is lost. Weezing, Ditto, Nidoqueen, Gyarados, and Carnivine are gone, and he might never see them again. James's crying attracts the attention of a Pokemon in the woods. With the faintest of chimes and an aura of calm, a chime echo approaches the crying James. The wild Pokemon doesn't know what's troubling the human, but Chime Echo is drawn to him and begins a soothing heal bell behind him. James turns to see the Pokemon and can feel his heart lift just a little, both thanks to the wild Pokemon's chimes and the fact that James has always wanted to see a Chime Echo. His mood brightens. "Hello there," he says. "I'm James. I know you don't know me, but I'm having the worst day I could imagine. Thank you for trying to help." Chime Echo smiles brightly and nuzzles against James, wiping a tear from his cheek. It doesn't change the loss he's felt, but something about this brief moment of calm reinvigorates James. He can't give up here. Butch and Cassidy may have his Pokemon, but he can get them back. James stands up and with newfound courage begins walking back to the Pokemon Center. He notices after a few steps that the wild Chime Echo is following him. Huh? Oh, do you want to come too? Honestly, I could use all the help I can get. Want to join me? And Chime Echo smiles wide, excited to be with someone who needs her instead of floating on the winds of Hoenn all alone. As the sun begins rising, James arrives back at the Pokemon Center and can see Jessie and Meowth talking with Officer Jenny outside. He asks them what's going on and notices that Jessie is holding something. It's a ransom note from Butch and Cassidy. It was left for Jessie and James, and Jenny came as soon as Jessie called her. It reads, "You may still have Meowth, but don't forget, we have your Pokemon. Do what we say or you will never see them again. Sign up for the Hoenn Gym and Contest Challenge. If you win both, we'll return your Pokemon. If not, you give us Meowth. Signed, Biff and Cassidy." Though Officer Jenny and her Growlithe will do their best to track the whereabouts of the two through the scent on the letter, it seems like James and Jessie have their hands tied. They'll have to play along with Butch and Cassidy's demands. For now. James signs up for the Hoenn Gym Challenge, and Jessie uses the contest pass from Aston to sign up for the Hoenn Contest Circuit. They will have to become stronger than ever before if they are to win and rescue their Pokemon. James and Jessie are determined to do their best, but they do wonder, why do Butch and Cassidy want them to do this? What is their plan? Remind me again, why are we doing this? Butch asks. Simple. They humiliated us, and now we have to humiliate them. Think about it. They catch brand new Pokemon and train them to be champions, and then, when they think we will return their Pokemon, we steal from them again. They will never get their Pokemon back, and we'll steal their Hoenn Pokemon and that talking Meowth. Madam Boss will be so impressed, we'll become Rocket Elites in the blink of an eye. That's a pretty evil plan. I know, but do you really want to disappoint Madam Boss? Will our heroes triumph in the gym and contest challenges? Will they save their Pokemon from Butch and Cassidy? Will Team Rocket get their hands on our lovable Meowth? Will Jezebel ever leave James alone? And who is feeding Lickitung? Answers to all this and more on the next What If James Never Got Engaged. As long as you like and subscribe, thank you. Daddy, you have to bail me out again. Sweetie, we told you. A 17th restraining order was the last straw. No more bailing you out. Maybe sometime in a Hoenn juvenile detention center will do you some good, young lady.